right, good afternoon, South Mississippi. Meteorologist Taylor Graham here with the latest forecast, and hopefully everyone has been able to stay cool the past few days. It's been pretty hot and humid outside the past several days. The high humidity has been making it feel even warmer, and tonight, not much of a difference, especially this evening. It's been very warm outside this afternoon, and temperatures really not going to be dropping too much overnight tonight. Now, rain chances increase a tiny bit by early Wednesday morning. A cold front will be approaching us from the north and west. Could see a few spotty showers ahead of the front. I'm not expecting a ton of rain, but this evening, if you have any outdoor plans, it's still going to be warm, muggy, and breezy at times. At least we've had a little bit of that breeze today to keep us maybe a little bit cooler on the coast, or at least to give us some temporary relief. But the high humidity overnight tonight will keep our temperatures mainly in the low 80s throughout the overnight hours, but by tomorrow morning we are going to be back into the mid to upper 70s. Currently, as of about 3 o'clock, we are at 86 in Gulfport, dew point of 76, making the heat index at 96 right now. And we have tons of sunshine out there as far as I can tell. Looking at all of our tower cameras, we can see more of that blue sky, although I would say it seems like that higher humidity is making it look maybe a little hazy outside at times. We are definitely feeling and looking more and more like summer the closer we get to the official start of summer. No surprise there. Even for us, by the end of May in South Mississippi, we typically see temperatures climbing up into the mid to upper 80s, and that's right where we're at this time. Noticing a few clouds here and there in the sky. Haven't really seen too much in the way of rain. There were a few little stray showers that tried to pop up today. Overall, we pretty much have stayed rain-free. Check out those temperatures. As of 3 o'clock, we've got 90 in Wiggins, 90 over in the Kill. Even on the coast, we've got those mid to upper 80s. And considering how humid it is, well, we have the heat index in the upper 90s, even in the triple digits in some spots. Perkinston, heat index right now at 100, 101 in Gaucher. Long Beach coming in at 106. So I don't think we can deny that it doesn't feel like summer outside, or it does feel like summer outside, that's for sure. But this is just the beginning. If you are from around this area, you know that unfortunately things are only going to be getting hotter and more humid once we get into the end of June and also into July. So believe it or not, this is just the beginning, even though it is pretty warm and muggy outside. But of course, if you're from this area, you already know that. Right now, South Mississippi fairly quiet. Unfortunately, another severe weather outbreak, it looks like, ongoing in parts of the Mid-South up into Kentucky and even into the Midwest. We've got an area of low pressure along with a cold front that's starting to move farther to the east. And this cold front will be moving in early Wednesday morning. Now, I wouldn't get your hopes up too high. Doesn't look like we're going to have a huge cool down by the end of Wednesday and into Thursday, but at least we do anticipate some lower humidity or some lower dew points as we get into the end of Wednesday and also into Thursday. So in addition to that, again, like I talked about, ongoing severe weather across parts of the Mid-South and Kentucky right now, and that enhanced level 3 risk expands into Alabama, even into parts of Georgia, it looks like. We are not included in that, even though that cold front is going to be moving in early tomorrow morning. We're not really anticipating much in the way of rain. Now, right now, we have plenty of moisture in the air, at least at the surface. Dew points in the mid-70s here along the Gulf Coast. But notice that behind the front, we have dew points more so in the 50s and the 40s. It's a bit of a tricky forecast tomorrow and also on Thursday in terms of the humidity. It really depends on how far south this cold front is going to be moving through our area. Now, it does look like inland areas, specifically Pearl River, Stone, and George County, you've got a pretty good chance of feeling that lower humidity by the end of Wednesday. Coastal areas south of I-10, it's a little more iffy at this point. Taking a look at the upper levels, we still have that big ridge of high pressure over the Gulf. That's been keeping us hot and pretty much rain-free the past few days. But that's starting to break down just a little bit. And so with that trough or dip in the jet stream just to our north and west, that may help to usher in some of that slightly drier air. And that trough is also going to help to push that cold front into our area. So the rest of today, hot, humid. We are already there in the upper 80s and low 90s. Overnight tonight, we may see the clouds increase ahead of that cold front. Ahead of the front, we're still going to be cooling down only into the mid to upper 70s. Even after the front passes through completely on Wednesday, we're still going to be very warm. Temperatures expected to at least be in the mid to upper 80s. If the boundary sticks around a little bit longer by Wednesday afternoon, there may be a chance for a few showers later in the day. Once we get into Thursday morning, it does look like inland areas will be cooling down into the low to mid 60s. Coastal spots, more so upper 60s, maybe the low 70s. We've had to trim our forecast back a little bit in terms of that cool down. You know, several days ago, originally it was looking like we were going to have a nice blast of that cooler air. Not so much at this point, but it is going to be a drop in our temperatures by Thursday and even Friday morning. I would say take advantage of it while you can, because we are in that time of year where these cold fronts are getting rarer and rarer here across the Gulf Coast. So it may not be much, but it's something. Now, Futurecast wants to place a few hit or miss showers on Thursday. Not so sure about that. I think the air is going to be dry enough that we're really not going to see any rain around the area, but we'll wait and see on that. Overall, our rain chances are still looking pretty slim tomorrow morning, even ahead of that cold front. So looking at some forecast models in terms of dew points, the GFS is a little more optimistic with keeping some of that lower humidity around a bit longer into Friday and Saturday. Dew points in the 60s. Nothing too drastic, but it is going to be a noticeable drop in the humidity. I'm more so on board with the European model, where we'll see that drop in the humidity initially by the end of Wednesday and into Thursday, but it does look like once we get into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, that higher humidity returns. Dew points will be back into the mid 70s and is going to be feeling more muggy at that point. Now, a look at across the board in South Mississippi, again, that dew point forecast, that was for areas on the coast. If you live farther inland, let's say Pearl River, Stone, George County, even into northern Harrison County, you have a better chance tomorrow of seeing dew points dropping into the 50s. Certainly going to feel less humid the farther north you are, especially the closer you are to the Pine Belt. Now, this lower humidity, it's not going to last forever. Even by the end of Wednesday and into Thursday, we may see that higher humidity start to creep back in, especially along the coast. And it does look like it is going to be more humid by the end of Thursday and also into Friday as a whole. So these low temperatures in the 60s, they're going to be short-lived. We're going to see that Thursday morning, Friday morning, but by Saturday and especially by Sunday morning with the higher humidity, we're just not going to be able to cool down as much. And that leads us into our Memorial Day weekend, which it looks very muggy, very warm, and we'll have to keep an eye out for our rain chances. There is a decent chance at this point we'll see some scattered showers and thunderstorms by Memorial Day itself, maybe even the following day. This weekend, rain chances are looking lower, but not completely zero. Saturday at this time looks to be the best day for any outdoor activities. That's when our rain chances are going to be the lowest. We've got lots of sunshine in the forecast on Saturday. It's going to be very warm and humid. Temperatures back into the mid to upper 80s. We'll keep that going into Sunday with a slightly better chance of rain, but for Memorial Day itself, we may see a few more thunderstorms around the area. Doesn't mean it's going to be raining all day on Monday, but I know a lot of people have a long weekend. They may be heading out to the beach, to the pool, any other outdoor activities. Just keep an eye on things. We'll be able to fine-tune those details more so once we get into Memorial Day itself. One thing, too, that you're probably going to be hearing us talk more and more about as we get into summer is the heat index. And sometimes this is referred to as like the feels like temperature. I just want to go over what the heat index is. It isn't some arbitrary number. It's actually, there is a long equation that factors in temperature along with the humidity or dew point. So this is pretty much the apparent temperature that our bodies feel. So the higher humidity makes it more difficult for our bodies to cool down. When we have a lot of humidity in the air, our sweat doesn't evaporate as efficiently, and so our bodies are not able to cool down as much. So that's generally what the heat index is trying to tell us. And once we get into the heart of summer, we may start to see heat advisories, also some heat warnings of that nature. So that does take into consideration the heat index, not just the temperature. So just emphasizing the heat index is not an arbitrary number. There is actually a formula with that, and the higher the heat index, the harder it is for your bodies to cool down. So today the heat index has been in the upper 90s, even the triple digits. At some point during the summer, it's a guarantee we're going to see the heat index probably closer to 110. It seems like that happens every summer here in South Mississippi. At least we're not at that level just yet, but we still are going to be feeling like summer the next couple of days. Humidity not as bad by the end of Wednesday and into Thursday, but that higher humidity returns just in time for our holiday weekend. We'll keep an eye on those rain chances as well. At this time, they look fairly slim this weekend. They may be a little bit higher, though, once we head into Memorial Day itself, but we are still several days out from that. So some of those details are still pretty fuzzy in terms of the exact timing of when we are going to see some of those showers and storms. So that wraps up things here. I will be back on air for our 4 o'clock show, giving you the latest forecast for the rest of the evening, the rest of the week. So hopefully you can join us there for not only the latest weather, but also the latest news. Hope to see you on air or on TV at 4 o'clock.